Hi everyone. Well, I've had a lot of questions lately about why aren't my strawberries producing. So I want to share a little bit of information about the different types of strawberries and also give some tips for how you can root the runners for free strawberry plants. Now I've got some strawberries growing behind me here in my strawberry crate tower. This is one of my favorite ways to grow strawberries. The strawberries love the drainage that the towers provide, and you can stack 3 crates on top of each other or even more if you want to, and that way you can grow more strawberries in less space. So I have a video on how to build the crate towers. I'll put that in the video description so you know exactly what to do. But basically they're just stacked on top of each other and then lined with the Smart Pots crate liners so that the soil doesn't run through, and then the strawberries are stuck in the holes of the crate liners. So super easy to do, a great way to grow strawberries. But just so you know, there's 3 different types of strawberries. There's June bearing, which tend to bear their very first crop in the spring, in the early summer, in June, and then they're pretty much done for the season. These berries are a little bit larger because you get 1 crop and then that's it until the following year. And then there's also berries that are called everbearing. And what those generally do is produce a crop early in the spring, then take a little break for the summertime, and then come back with one last hurrah later in the summer or in the first part of the fall. There's another variety called day neutral, which produce smaller crops of berries throughout the growing season. So the best way that you can get continual harvest of berries in your garden is to plant berries of each type, so that you have harvest throughout the growing season. And if you don't know what type of berries you have, just Google it and you can find out what type of berries your particular variety is. Most of these are seascape berries, which are a day neutral berry, so I've been getting smaller harvests throughout the growing season. So if your berries aren't producing right now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything wrong. It just might be that you don't have the type that produces at this time of the year. So next year when you plant, you want to plant berries of each different type so you have continual harvest throughout the season. Now, the other reason your strawberries might not be producing is that maybe they need some fertilizer. Strawberries do need consistent fertilizing, especially when you're growing them in containers or in the crate towers. So I like to fertilize my crate towers once every 10 days to 2 weeks. The combination of fertilizer that works really well for me, I've used it in my garden for years, is a little plant cocktail, I like to call it. It's Good Dirt Plant Food, which is a higher nitrogen fertilizer, and a combination with the Vermistera worm tea. So I just mix this little plant cocktail together in a watering can and water my strawberry crate towers with it every 10 days to 2 weeks. And in between time, I do have my towers hooked up to drip irrigation. I have an irrigation system on the top tower and the middle tower, which is where I have the berries planted. And again, I'll put a link in the video description on how I set that up. But strawberries really do need consistent water. And they actually don't like super warm temperatures. So the best time for them to produce is when the temperatures are between 60 and 85 degrees. They stop flowering and fruiting over 85. So if you're getting really hot temperatures in your area, this might be another reason why they're not producing. So just cover them with shade cloth to minimize the stress on the plant, and when the temperatures cool down, hopefully they'll take off once again. Now, strawberries are a perennial plant and they will survive very, very cold temperatures. They produce well for about 3 to 4 years before the plants need replaced. So if you're coming into winter time, your plants are going to go dormant, die back, turn brown. No big deal. What you want to do is trim your strawberry plants to about 2 inches tall, and then mulch them heavily if you're growing them in ground with a couple inches of shredded leaves, some type of mulch. If you're growing them in a crate tower or in containers, you can mulch the top of the crate tower or the containers and then cover them with a frost blanket, an old quilt, a heavy piece of plastic. Move them into a protected location and they should survive the winter just fine. Now in southern climates, like I live here in California, they may get a little brown and crispy leaves, no big deal, but they'll definitely survive the winter. You may want to mulch them a little bit. You really don't need to cover them. If you have a very mild winter, you may even get a few berries throughout the winter. I always love to plant flowers in with my strawberry towers. So I've got some nasturtiums planted there on the top of my towers. Those are the orange flowers. Not only does it look really pretty cascading over the edge, but it also brings in the pollinators, which means more berries for us. So these long shoots are called the runners, and they have a little node on them, which you can then poke in the soil. And I like to use a little bobby pin to kind of secure it. So all I'm going to do is spread my little bobby pin apart And then we're gonna do this right in the strawberry crate towers. Look for an empty little spot here. Just peel back the little Smart Pots crate liner, poke it right in the soil, hold it in place with my bobby pin. And after a couple of weeks, these little nodes here, the runners, will take root in the soil. And you can tell it's taken root when you remove the bobby pin, you kind of tug on it and it gives some resistance. That means the roots are getting established. And then at that point in time, you can then clip the runner to release it from the mother plant. So this runner actually has two different little nodes on it. There's teeny tiny little roots growing out of this one. So we'll just grab another bobby pin. You can use a landscape staple if you want to, or a piece of wire. And see, I've cut little holes in the Smart Pots crate liners to allow for the plants. And we'll just poke it right in place. Now, one thing about some strawberry varieties is that they do produce a lot of runners. The Seascape being one of them. I've got this runner here, this runner here, some more over here on the side. Now granted, I do have a lot of plants in here, but if you're growing your plants for the production, they're right in the middle of their high producing season, you may want to cut off most of the runners, leave a couple to go ahead and root, but that way most of the energy goes into producing berries rather than into growing brand new plants. Now, one issue that I have from time to time with my strawberries is the bugs seem to love them just as much as I do. So it's really important that you find some type of organic bug and slug killer to sprinkle on the top of the soil. One thing I've been using this year that I've really enjoyed is this bug and slug killer by Bonide. It's an organic product. It's very easy to apply. It lasts for up to 4 weeks or so. After heavy rain, you may want to reapply it, but you just sprinkle it over the top of the soil around the berry plants. It's people and pet safe, so you don't have to worry about your animals getting into it. Kills the bugs and the slugs and leaves more berries for you. Well, let me know if you're growing strawberries in your garden. They're such a rewarding crop to grow. So fresh, so juicy, and so incredibly delicious. Please visit my seed and garden shop for seed collections, my book, and fabric Smart Pots, and let me know if you're growing strawberries in your garden this season and what you enjoy about growing them. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.